Hello, namaste. My name is Kathryn from Be Vivant, and I'm here as part of Yoga Solidaire to offer a short class on Hatha Yoga. I offer Yin Yoga and Hatha Yoga classes, and I offer them in English and also in French, and we're going to do it today in English. If you want to follow me outside, you're more than welcome. So come sit in a comfortable position. We're going to do a short meditation, knees falling down towards the mat, back's nice and straight, chin is tucked under so our neck is nice and long. Close the eyes and just rest the hands on the knees and find a comfortable position, find a comfortable posture for yourself. And we're going to start to come inside. We're going to start to listen to the sounds of the body, start to become aware of what's happening here and now in the present moment. We're going to concentrate on our breath, the in-breaths and the out-breaths. Maybe we can feel a change in temperature by our nostrils, or maybe we can feel our chest rising and falling. And I want you just to concentrate on these sensations of the body that are happening with the inhale and the exhale of our breath. I'm going to try and stay present in the present moment during our practice today. Yoga is all about union of the mind, the body, and the soul, or spirit, or whatever you might want to call it. Union of the self. So we use our postures to allow us to become aware of what's happening in the body, to be in the present moment, and to try and focus our mind in this way. So just stay with the breath. What's happening in your breath today, here and now. Try not to control it, just go with whatever your breath wants to do and just be aware, just stay present. I like to practice outside because it helps to bring me to the present moment of those that surround me and the nature that's surrounding me, the birds that are singing, the wind that's blowing. So if you're someone that also likes to practice outside, I invite you to find a way to do your practice outside, either with me or on your own, but it's a great way to be aware of what's happening in the present moment and to find that connection with nature. Okay, we're going to open our eyes, and just as we breathe in, we're going to take our arms up to the sky and start creating a little bit of heat in our arms. Now as we breathe out, we're taking our arms down to the side, keeping our tummy tucked under, shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in, arms up, palms facing one another, up towards the sky, necks relaxed, hands facing down. As we breathe out, taking the arms back down. This time we're going to start mobilizing the upper back, breathing out as we come, arms forward. They can just cross over ever so slightly. And breathing in, we're going to open the chest, keeping the tummy tucked, pushing the chest forward. And breathing out, taking our arms in front of us, almost crossing the arms over so we can feel our shoulders lengthening away from one another. And breathing in, nice big in-breath, pushing the chest forward, keeping the tummy tucked. And a third time now, keeping the arms parallel, taking the arms across, and then taking them far away, breathing in, pushing the chest forward. We can even close our eyes here. Feel the chest pushing forward. Keep the tummy tucked, keeping the arms there parallel where they are. And then breathe out, we can take our hands down onto our knees again. I'm going to take my block away from me. I'm up on a block. So I've got my sitting bones down on the ground, but if you want to stay up on something, you're welcome to. Breathing in, arms back up to the top. And as we breathe out, we're going to come down to the side, keeping both our sitting bones on the ground. Maybe your elbow touches, maybe not. And taking the arm long away from us, stretching into our side. Breathing in, arms back up to center. And as we breathe out, taking our elbow down to the ground, keeping the sitting bones down on the ground, stretching our side. And again, breathing in up to the top, arms parallel, shoulders down. And as we breathe out, coming down to the side, feeling the nice stretch, keeping both sitting bones on the ground. That's what's important. And again, breathing in, taking the arms up to the top, and breathing out, taking the arms down to the side, stretching into the side, keeping both sitting bones on the ground, feeling a really nice deep stretch into our side there. And for the final time, taking the arms up to the top. And as we breathe out, we can just shake our arms out and waken them up a little bit, relax them out. I'm going to take my mala beads off because we're going to come to all fours, so I don't want them to get in the way. Now, my practice is all about being present, so it can be quite a calm and soft practice, but we're really in the present moment, and we're also working the body. So we're going to do some cat-cows to wake the body up. So as we breathe out, we can arch the back and tuck the head under, and take a nice in-breath, coming from the mid-back, almost like a wave coming into the body. Shoulders are away from the ears, and we can close the eyes here and just go with the breath. So the idea is that we're using our breath to help guide our practice, to help guide our postures. So at the end of the posture, at the end of the pose, that's when the breath finishes. So allow yourself to be guided by your own breath, by the rhythm of your breath, tucking yourself nice and wide under. And we can start to also visualize each and every vertebrae changing position, moving from one way to the other, as though it's really coming from our mid-back like waves through the ocean. Imagine our back is like vagues, waves, moving through the ocean, and we're just going with the breath, allowing ourselves to be free with our own rhythm, with the rhythm of our own individual breath. Okay, great. We're going to come back to neutral spine. Keep the tummy tucked, shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to take the hands out wide. I'm going to take the knees out wide and keep my toes together. So I'm actually just going to place them in towards each other a little bit. And this time I'm really going to play and start opening up the hips. So I'm coming down on one side and coming up the other. And I'm just playing with the movement of the back, the movement of the hips, and the transfer of the weight. I can also move my neck and my head here. And transfer the weight from my knees to my hands and my hips up towards my shoulders, and try to really visualize that transfer. So you can close your eyes again here if you want to, and just be really aware, almost like we're doing Tai Chi, almost like we're doing a little bit of Qigong, where we're shifting our weight from one way to the other within our body, and we're really aware of that. And I invite you to bring in your breath. So we've got our fingers wide, spread out wide as well. So got a nice wide plantation with our hands. But I invite you to bring the breath in here. So what I want you to do is go with the movement, and it's as though you're breathing out, coming down, and then you get to the end breath, and as you come up towards the hands, you breathe in, and you get to the end breath as you're right up to the top of your hands where you want to be, wherever's right for you. And then you breathe out again, coming down towards the hips, taking the weight back towards the hips, and breathing in, taking your weight back up towards your hands. And if you're here at the top now, we're just going to swap over to change the way. Whichever way you're doing, we're just going to change it to go the other way. So I want you to visualize the weight, the change of the weight that's happening in your body, as well as using your breath. Use your breath to help you be guided in your posture. Coming down is the end of the out breath, and coming back up to the top of the in breath. Almost like it's circular, our breath. It's helping us create these circles. Okay, great. We're going to come back up to tabletop. So I'm going to bring my hands back in to just below my shoulders. Bring my knees back in to hip distance apart, and my toes are still up and armed. I've got my shoulders away from my ears. And as I breathe in, I'm going to take my left arm all the way up to the top, hands stretched out. And as I breathe out, I'm taking it in between my arm and the rest of my body, and I'm resting down on the side of my head and on my shoulder. Breathing in, I can take my hand wide away from me, and I've got my fingers stretched out as far as possible. It's almost like they're really grasping to grab the grass in front of me. As I breathe in, I can feel my arm and my shoulder stretching further out, and as I breathe out, I can feel my body sinking further and further down into the ground. So again, just go with your breath here, breathing in almost like you're stretching as far up as possible. And as you breathe out, sinking down into the ground, feeling a nice stretch across your shoulder, across your arm. Breathing in, I'm going to take my hand back down towards my face so I can push in to the mat and take my hands back up to tabletop. So I'm going to come the other side, breathing in, taking my right arm all the way up to the top. And as I breathe out, in between my left arm and the rest of my body, taking my head onto the ground, my shoulder onto the ground, and I can take my arm up, stretching up, reaching for the grass, reaching for the top of the mat. As I breathe in, I can feel my arm and my shoulder stretching up, and as I breathe out, I can feel my body and my sides sinking down towards the ground. Breathing in, my arm stretches up, and as I breathe out, it sinks down towards the ground. Go with your breath here. Relax down into the ground. Stretch up and out. Feel the stretch in your side and in your shoulder. And then as I breathe in, I'm going to take my hand back down towards my face so I can push into the mat and come back up to all fours. I'm going to take my hands in front of me, keeping my toes and feet where they are. And I'm coming into my first downward dog, pushing into my hands, pushing into my heels. I want to be able to not see my heels, so I want to see my toes and my heels come out. That just creates space in my lower back. So I'm just taking my heels slightly out to the side and my toes slightly in, pushing into the hands, fingers are wide and spread. And I'm just tucking my tummy. Here I'm breathing in, coming up onto my toes, weight comes towards the hands, bending the knees, pushing back into the hands. And then I'm just going to straighten the legs out again. So we're going to do that a few times, breathing in, up onto the toes, weight towards the hands, bend the knees, push into the hands, and then we're going to straighten the legs out again. And for final time, breathing in, coming up onto the toes, weight towards the hands, bend the knees, push into the hands, push all the way back, and then straighten the legs out again. Breathing in, right leg up, left leg up, to the sky. And as we breathe out, coming towards the chest and onto the front of the mat. Knee down onto the ground, toes tucked down onto the ground, pushing into my hips here. Resting here, long neck, straight back, shoulders are down. And as I breathe out, I'm just going to shift my weight back and keeping my foot where it is, just give myself a nice stretch underneath my leg, behind the back of my leg. Breathing in, coming back up towards the front of the mat, feeling the stretch between the hips. And as I breathe out this time, coming back. Do this one more time, breathing in, coming to the front of the mat, feeling the stretch in the hips. And as I breathe out, coming back, finding my way back to give myself a nice stretch behind the leg. And then I'm just going to lift up the toes, keeping the heel where it is still. And I can hold on to the toes if I want with one hand or with two if I find stability. My shoulders are relaxed and I'm just helping with my hands to pull my front body towards my leg. And then breathing out, I can just take my toe back down there, place my hands on the ground, lift up my back knee, and come back into a downward dog, pushing into the hands, pushing into the heels, and just resting here a few moments. I can bend one knee and bend the other. I'm going to try and go with the breath here. So I breathe in or breathe out, whichever you choose. But let's say I breathe out, I bend my right, I breathe in, I bend my left. Just really feel that synchronicity with the breath and the movement. Find control in your movement. Making sure your knee comes parallel to the body. And then we're going to place both heels down on the ground, breathing in, right leg up into the sky. And breathing out, bringing it into the chest and then to the front of the mat. Left knee comes down, back is long and straight, shoulders are down, neck nice and long, and we're pushing into the hips again. As I breathe out, taking my hands back, keeping my front foot where it is, and creating a nice stretch behind the leg. Breathing in, coming back forward to create a nice stretch in between the hips. And breathing out again, stretching behind my leg, Keeping the heel and front foot where it is. Breathing in, coming back forward, long back, shoulders away from the ears. Tummy comes down onto the thigh. And then third time again, breathing out, taking myself back. And I can just lift up that front foot and grab hold of it with either one hand or two hands. If I'm feeling the stability here where I am, just pulling the foot towards me lightly with my hands. And then bringing my hands back down to the mat, foot back down to the mat, lifting up the back knee and coming back to downward dog, pushing into the heels, pushing into the hands, fingers are wide. This time as I breathe in, I'm coming up onto the toes, coming all the way up into plank. So my tummy's tucked, shoulders away from the ears, and my heels come back, looking forward. And I can either come down onto my knees, chin and chest down, or I can come down in chaturanga, elbows in at the side, breathing in up to small cobra. And breathing out, coming back to downward dog, heels down, fingers are wide. We're going to do that again one more time, coming up onto the toes, coming all the way up to plank, tummy's tucked, shoulders away from the ears, and the heels are back. Breathing out to chaturanga, and breathing in to small cobra. Keeping the shoulders and elbows in, and then coming back to another downward dog, pushing into the hands, pushing into the heels. This time we're going to look between our hands, bend our knees, and jump to the front of the mat. And I'm going to stay low here, and I'm going to take my feet out to the sides, placing my hands together, and push my knees out with my elbows. My practice is often quite playful. We never really plan, we see what happens, and every time it's different, so just enjoy the play. We can close our eyes here, lift up our back, tuck the chin under, and just breathe into this posture, pushing the knees out wide, keeping the back straight, and if you're able to, we can even come up a little bit taller. And with the out breath, we're going to come and sit down onto the mat, bringing our feet together. And we're going to use control, keeping our arms at our sides, to bring ourselves down onto the mat, little by little. Keeping the tummy active. We work our lower back here as well. And we see how slowly we can do it before finally bringing the head down onto the mat. Keeping our arms at our sides, we're going to bring the feet in a little bit. Just about hip width apart. Our knees are hip width apart. Arms come up over the top. And as I breathe in, I'm going to curl from the lower back, mid back, all the way up onto my shoulders. And as I breathe out, taking my upper back, my mid back, and finally my lower back down onto the ground. Coming in again one time. For this, breathing in, going with your breath, going with the rhythm of your breath, feeling and visualizing the lower back lifting, the mid back, the upper back lifting. And we're going to take our hands underneath our buttocks, linking our fingers together, trying to come up as far as possible onto our shoulders to give ourselves a little bit of stretch in our shoulders. Push the hips up to the sky, keep the knees ever so slightly in together. And breathe deep into the tummy here. Pushing the breath right into the tummy. And breathing out, we can take our arms to the side, lower our upper back, our mid back, and our lower back down to the ground. Take our feet in together to come to butterfly. And we're going to take our arms up above our heads again, and just hold onto our shoulders above our head. Try and tuck the shoulders under and tuck the pelvis under as well. You can see my little movement here, tucking the pelvis under, just to try and straighten out the back and keep the lower back and the upper back on the floor at the same time. Neck's nice and long. Relax the jaw muscles. Try and relax the insides of the legs. Just stay here a few moments. We can cross over our arms the other way to hold on to our elbows the other way. Feel the difference here. It's all about awareness of the body. Bringing conscious awareness to the mind, to control the mind, to be in the present moment, to make conscious decisions on and off the mat. So just feel the difference here in the arms. We can let go of our arms and just take them out to our sides. And take our legs out, one and then the other in front of us. And you're welcome to practice a Shavasana here, where we are. Or you can come up, back up to sitting. Thank you for practicing with me. My practice is, like I said, as often as possible outside in nature. That's where I feel really a connection. And I studied a long time in different parts of Asia, so I've got quite a deep connection with India and Thailand and China as well. So you're welcome to practice with me. And thanks for watching. And thank you for supporting Yoga Solidaire. Be vivante. Namaste.